We're starting the week off strong with my own mock draft, and we're going to go 3 rounds deep. I'm using the Draft Network for my draft order, so if you have any problems with that, take it up with the Draft Network. But there's going to be plenty of picks you'll probably have some thoughts about. Let me know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and have that nice, beautiful, sensual football discourse down there. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. We're gonna try to rail through all these, so the video is not extremely long. So again, if you got any questions, just let me know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and switch on over to Detroit Lions. Aiden Hutchinson, he's the new number 1. I mean, after a weekend he had, I don't blame him. 15 pressures by himself, 3 sacks. He totally destroyed the combination of Jones, Thayer Mumford, Petit Frere. And I mean, he's done this in the past to a guy like Jackson Kirkland, who's like probably a day 2 tackle in this class. So yeah, man, Aiden Hutchinson, he has taken over the number 1 spot currently. Houston Texans, we go with Kayvon Thibodeau. He had a pretty good week in his own right against Oregon State, coming up with 8 pressures. But again, he hasn't seen the type of high class. Man, come here, dude. Dog came in with his toy, just banging it on my chair. But he hasn't seen the high class tackles that Hutchinson has seen. So that's why we see him fall here. Again, quarterback, kind of sketchy class. The Jacksonville Jaguars, we go with Evan Neal. We gotta protect our investment for the future in, Trevor Lawrence. So we do that with Evan Neal. He allowed his first sack this week, but only one though. Only one against a very mean Auburn pass rush. The New York Jets, they have 2 picks, so we're going to go ahead and cover both of them. I got them going back-to-back. Kyle Hamilton and Derek Stingley went ahead and just fully addressed the secondary. Marcus May, he's coming on off the franchise tag. Do they re-sign him? Do they throw the tag on him again? Regardless, Kyle Hamilton, wonderful talent. And then Stingley, I really think completes this cornerback core, while some people will be like, oh, they got some good young talent like Brandon Equals. Like, he's not been that good this year. Like, again, promise as a rookie, but he's just a depth piece at this point. Him and Guidry they're more so sub-package guys. So that's what we got going on with that pick. On to the New York Giants. I think they have back-to-back picks, so we're going to go ahead cover them. I got Ike Ekwonu, just grabbing some offensive line help. I'm kind of scared. I don't want to move him to the right side, have him play right tackle. But, I mean, we know at the very least we're getting a very good left guard. But, hey, they need to help the line in any way possible. I think Icky does that. Kingsley Enagbare, I'm a mark for him. I think he's like probably a top 15 prospect in this class. He's not going to be like the most athletic, but he's extremely violent. The Giants, they need help with pass rush. This guy's got great hands, great length, good physical tool set, just not like the high-end athlete of like Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. And then the Washington football team, first quarterback off the board. I have Malik Willis. Listen, I'm going to stick with Malik Willis. I know the decision making is not great. He's going to be my first quarterback. I'm going to stick with that until the Senior Bowl, when those guys really have a chance to kind of separate from one another. But Washington football team, they go ahead and get their quarterback of the future here. He's got immense upside. He's not surrounded with a lot of talent. Like just this past weekend, he had, I think, 2 touchdowns that were dropped. Tough game against Army, but what you going to do about it? And then the Philadelphia Eagles, back-to-back picks here, man. Let's just knock both these out. Ahmad Gardner and then George Karlaftis. Steven Nelson, he's going to be a free agent. Just grab cornerback depth. Ahmad Gardner, he's my next guy off the board. And then Karlaftis, they need to add youth to the edge position. And, I mean, our boy George K here, that he just feels like a Philadelphia pass rusher. I'm just going to say that. And then the Carolina Panthers, I have them just going Charles Cross. This guy's going to be a top 10 talent. He has really rose up with his play in the SEC this year. very high upside guy. They desperately need help along that offensive line. I know the quarterback position needs to be addressed. I just don't think they should do it just yet in a draft. Again, in a class that's kind of like, at this point, you're taking Matt Corral, maybe Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett. You throw those guys kind of like all in the mix. So it's like, I don't know. You kind of question that. And then the Atlanta Falcons. I got them going David Ojabo. Yes, I watched me some Ojabo tape, and I like what I saw. And you know what? The Atlanta Falcons, they need to get pressure. Pressure. They have one of the worst pass rushing cores, I think, in the league. It's pretty bad. And then the New Orleans Saints. They have no weapons. I got them one in Garrett Wilson. He is, I think, far and away, potentially my top wide receiver. Big fan. By the way, position rankings, they're going to be coming out on, actually, corner probably comes out tomorrow. And then you're going to get wide receiver plus tight end on Wednesday. So look out for that. But Garrett Wilson's fantastic. Saints, they don't have pass rushers. Playmakers. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, this is their next pick. I want to win to Kobe Dean. We basically just hit every level of the defense. Like, I like to think about quarterback here, but it's like, I don't know. You could bring back Gardner Minshew for another year, have him and Jalen Hurts battle it out. Like, honestly, after Hurts' performance against the Giants, I wouldn't blame the Eagles, especially since they're still kind of in the playoff chase if they go with Gardner Minshew. So, yeah. But linebacker happens to be the worst depth on the roster there. And Nakobe Dean, kind of money. And Pittsburgh Steelers, I went with Matt Corral. Steeler fans, you can't tell me anything, dude. Big Ben, he's been bad this year. There's been some bright spots, like last week. But this past weekend, it was pretty bad. Let's go ahead and get a new signal caller in there. Even if they're like, oh, they don't like doing rookie quarterbacks. They haven't had rookie. Well, really, they haven't drafted a rookie highly since Big Ben. Well, let's go ahead and change that right now because we need to look past Big Ben. The Denver Broncos. I went with Sam Howell. Again, kind of another team that they got steady Teddy there, but they're really in, I think for them, they're in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. So either they don't have this first-round pick because they got Aaron Rodgers, or they should use this first-round pick to try to get better at the quarterback position. Sam Howell, he has got a freaking cannon for an arm. Beautiful. That'll fit with the immense playmakers they just paid this season. The Las Vegas Raiders. I like this pick. I'm just going to say this. Treylon Burks. Listen, Burks might not be my number 2 wide receiver, but depending on how he tests out at the combine, if he's freaky like DK Metcalf, Chase Claypool freaky, this is a guy that could be a mismatch. Like speed, size. Like he can do it after the catch. He could do it vertically. Oh, man. I mean, I know some of y'all Raiders fans might be like, oh, man, Deshaun Jackson's doing his part. Yeah, let's look past Deshaun Jackson. Let's improve this wide receiver core desperately. This is a talented dude. This might kind of one of my favorite picks of the draft. The Cleveland Browns. Hot take. I went with Kenny Pickett. Listen, Kenny Pickett for me kind of just sits outside like my top 30. I think just because if I'm drafting a first-round quarterback, I want them to have like an elite ceiling. Like they could be a top 5 to 7 guy in the league. For me, I think Kenny Pickett's closer to like a Kirk Cousins, that he could be maybe a top 15 to 12 guy in the league. That might be just me, because I do think there's some limitations with his arm. Keep in mind, everyone's gushing over this season. He has prior 3 seasons of tape. I know, I watched him. He was included in my rankings for the 2021 class, and I kind of still thought he was like this day 2 guy. But I think he's much more than a potential high-end backup to replace, like potential replacement starter. I think he can be a starter in this league. Plus Baker Mayfield. Let's just get someone that could efficiently run this offense. Baker, it's not gelling. I know the man's been hurt. They already got him on the 5th-year deal tag anyway, but I don't know. I'm not going to be if I'm the Browns, I'm not paying high money for for Baker, and I might just move on. We got the Minnesota Vikings. Andrew Booth, he's coming on. He's coming on to finish the season. Still worry about how he handles physicality, much like that, again, in the NC State game against Mezzi, who was a very physical, very big receiver, had his way with Booth. Still worry about that, but you love the athleticism. Mike Zimmer, he loves corners in the first round. Match made in heaven. And then we got the Los Angeles Chargers. I went with Jordan Davis. This is a team that sells out to stop the pass. So let's go ahead and ensure we could get a good run stuffer, especially if we're going to sell out to stop the pass. Let's get a good guy in there that could be a consistent force. It has a bit of pass rushing upside, and that is Jordan Davis. He has been mighty impressive this year, a guy that can handle double teams. Very explosive for his size as well. Kind of a Linval Joseph replacement. And then the Miami Dolphins, I said, screw it, dude. We're at 21. I'm taking Tyler Linderbaum. He kind of feels like a sure thing at center. The Dolphins, they need help at center. So let's go ahead and get it, man. The Buffalo Bills, I went with Kenyon Green, a guy, preferably, I'd rather try to get this cat as a tackle. But we know he has been very effective at left and right guard in college. So Buffalo, I grabbed this cat, expecting him to be basically a replacement for one of my guards, probably for Cody Ford, and potentially could be a spot starter at left tackle. So that's why we're getting Kenyon Green. And then the Detroit Lions, dude, we got a burner, dude. Chris Olave, man, him being available at 23 is, I think, pretty nice. Detroit, they want burners. We got them one. We got them more. Cincinnati Bengals, I went ahead with Kaiir Elam, dude. Him at 24 feels like really good value. Let's get a quality number 2 corner next to Wouzier. So we did that. Dallas Cowboys kind of had the same thing in mind. That secondary needs help. I wouldn't mind getting a safety, but I think we could maybe address that in the second round or in day 2. So we went ahead. Roger McCreary, he's been extremely impressive this year. And dude's got legit ball skills. Pairing him up next to Trayvon Diggs, it's just nice. It's beautiful. I love it. DeMarvin Leal, dude, falling down here at 26. We're going to talk about guys that should come back on Thursday. And he may or may not be on this list. While he's been good, this tweener role for him, 290, likely probably going to be a guy that moves to the inside in the NFL, but we haven't seen a lot of that in college, so a lot of teams are just going to evaluate him as an edge. And while he's been good in terms of this edge class, I wouldn't say he's near the top. I still love this guy's movement skills for a guy 290. He's really twitchy, great hands. But, yeah, man, he might get lost in the shuffle and get maybe, I really think he could maybe fall out of the top 15. But, because I think I currently have him around 20 on my board. But, because there's been also a lot of guys that have pole vaulted. They have helped their draft stock immensely. But, in the meantime, the Chiefs, they need help at pass rush. Spag, he loves these big athletic edges, so we get one for him here. Tennessee Titans, I went with Jamison Williams. Boy got himself kicked out, ejected, disqualified in that Auburn game. Helmet to helmet on special teams, dude. Come on. But anyway, we get a burner for the Titans, and they need wide receiver depth desperately. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm going to stick with corner. I like the idea of improving, getting good cornerback depth, especially with Carlton Davis as an upcoming free agent. Trent McDuffie is a fantastic. Big fan of this dude's game. I really think he can mirror any receiver in the league. You might not like his length, is what it is, though I think it's a good pick here for Tampa. New England Patriots, man. I went with Devin Lloyd out of Utah. This is my true replacement for Dante Hightower. Lloyd is a guy that could come in. He could blitz effectively. He's stupid, lengthy, good wingspan. He could cover passing lanes relatively easy, and he plays the run extremely well. He's a very good linebacker. And then the Green Bay Packers. I didn't feel right grabbing any receiver here, even though I do like Drake London kind of in this area. I went with Drake Jackson just because he's a smidge higher on my board. I really, truly believe that Preston and Zadarius Smith are gone after this year. So let's grab another high upside guy, very similar to Rashawn Gary coming out when he had all these physical tools. Drake Jackson, great length and explosiveness. Let's just improve that pass rush, depending on if those guys leave or not. Baltimore Ravens, I went with Jordan Battle, dude. I think he's a first rounder. He has been exceptionally good this year. A very fluid athlete, a very strong athlete too at safety. And he really fits Baltimore. They love their safeties. They love having 3 safeties on the field. This is the guy that could come in and he could do cover 0. He could come in and he could man up, honestly, anybody. So we got him there. Arizona Cardinals, Trayvon Walker. I honestly do think Trayvon Walker should return because I think if he returns, comes out in 2023, he could be like a top 10 pick. This guy's physical traits are bonkers, are nuts. He's seen about, I think 700 career snaps. Typically, in a season, you're seeing about 900 to 1,000 snaps. You kind of want those guys in that area, and he's only done that for his career. So I think coming in and getting just more snaps under his belt and just further showcasing his dominance could make him a top 10 pick, similar to what Aiden Hutchinson did. Granted, he broke his leg, couldn't play, and then he bet on himself, came out, and now he's, for some people, the number 1 overall pick. I'm not saying Trayvon Walker could be a number 1 overall because I think the quarterback class next year will be better, but he could be definitely top 10. Oh, by the way, this is my Zach Allen replacement because this is a big boy. Walker's a big boy, man. So, yeah. All right, let's get to that second round. And we're starting off strong. We're just going to jump 2 picks because I got a trembling finger, I guess. Just keep us scrolling. Nick Bonito, you might be like, why are you doubling up on edge since you just went with Aiden Hutchinson? I don't think Trey Flowers is going to be there much longer. I know that Romeo Akawara has been banged up, and they just signed him to a contract. But Nick Bonito is a guy they could also use in coverage. I think he's a really good scheme fit, and I think he's a guy, like I said, could also play in coverage. He has like almost 300 coverage snaps to his name, so he's a bit more diverse. Again, Nick Bonito, for me, he could really go anywhere in the second round just because I think it's going to take a team, because he's so scheme dependent, it's going to take a team that already was like, yeah, we got to roll for this guy. And then Martin Emerson, the Texans have no one at corner. Martin Emerson's my next corner off the board. Washington football team, I went ahead with safety. I got him, Nick Cross. This guy's a freak athlete for his size. I think he's going to test out exceptionally well, like a Kyle Duggar or Jeremy Chin. I'm really high on Nick Cross. The Jaguars, I grabbed Drake London here. I'm hoping the broken ankle doesn't take London out of the first round. Very well can. But listen, Trevor Lawrence, let's get him more playmakers. He loves big receivers. Go back to his days in Clemson. He loves big receivers. What's Drake London? He's a big receiver. On to the Chicago Bears, their first pick. Brandon Smith. Let's get someone that can consistently play next to Raekwon Smith at a high level. Brandon Smith is that guy. Now you got the Smith brothers there on the interior. There wasn't a corner I was willing to grab at this point. And honestly, I think on the offensive line, Bears might be good. Might be good in the future. Like getting a replacement center, I think might be key. But Larry Borum's actually played pretty well. And keep in mind, they have Tevin Jenkins kind of sitting in the wings right now. So they might be good at tackle. So we'll grab Brandon Smith to help out with the linebacking core there. Because, Trevathan, right? I can't remember his name. But he's just often hurt. Let's get someone that consistently play well next to him. And this guy's great in coverage. Philadelphia Eagles. I said, screw it. Let's send it. We're here at 38. I went with Carson Strong. Hear me out here, man. You get a strong arm quarterback with a great offensive line and speedsters. Ooh wee. I kind of like that. The Minnesota Vikings, I went with Arnold Ebiketie out of Penn State. This guy's really improved his stock. I'm a big fan of this dude's game. With Danielle Hunter's future kind of like, is he going to be here next year? We don't know. No one else is bringing pressure for this Minnesota squad. So let's get someone that can potentially maybe replace or play across from. And then the New York Jets, I went with linebacker Christian Harris. The guy's a freak athlete. If anyone could kind of figure out what to do with this cat, it's Robert Saleh. He's like, I'll take me a great athlete, and he will learn. And plus, Jets linebacker course really do. The New York Giants, I went ahead and addressed the offensive line again. I went with Nicholas Petit-Frere. I know this cat had a bad game against Aiden Hutchinson. A lot of people did, but he has been very good for the rest of the season. So, and this is a cat that played right tackle in 2020. So maybe he's our right tackle. We have Mckee at right or at left guard. Nick Gates, keep him at center, and then I guess right guard's kind of up for grabs. You have Hernandez, you have Lemieux, or bring in somebody. So yeah, let's just help this offensive line the best we can and give Daniel Jones, I guess, one last chance. Miami Dolphins, I went with Jahan Dotson. I just wanted to add more firepower at receiver. I wouldn't mind if it would have been nice to get someone that was maybe had better size, but he's like 5'11", like 182, 185, and he's done well on the outside in the Big Ten, so can't really make that complaint there. So we get Jahan Dotson. Again, another guy with tremendous firepower. And then at 43, Indianapolis Colts, I went with Kyler Gordon. This is a guy that's going to be moving up a lot of people's boards. He is playing next to Trent Duffy. He's looking extremely good. The ball skills, I think, might be legit. And Xavier Rhodes, he's a free agent. Rocky Sin, he's playing good football, but again, will that last? Let's just bring in some more cornerback depth. Atlanta Falcons, I went with David Bell. I really think he's not going to go in the first round just simply because he's not a separator. He's not a speedster. What this guy does is great body control. He's wonderful after the catch. If you're the Falcons, you're kind of hoping Ridley does return, and I think David Bell will be a very good complement to him. New Orleans Saints, I went with Darion Kennard. Honestly, Saints, the guard position's been terrible for the Saints, whether it's Cesar Ruiz, Pete, Throckmorton. Let's just improve it here with Kennard. New York Jets back on the clock, and I went with Trey McBride, first tight end coming off the board, man. He is the type of blocker / receiver that Saleh loves. So, Trey McBride, you are first tight end off the board, my friend. Pittsburgh Steelers, I went with Jaquan Brisker. I feel like, the safety position's typically devalued and it falls down the boards. But I think it's still a very valuable position. Brisker, I think, is a guy that could probably sneak into the end of the first round. But he ends up falling here at 47. I just want to upgrade over Edmonds, who's kind of been playing. His play is like up and down. But Brisker's a guy that can play in the box, play efficiently. I really want to help this secondary for Pittsburgh because it's starting to trend back to the Artie Burn days. So I want to prevent that. Cincinnati Bengals, I went with tackle Trevor Pennant. I think this guy's really going to jump up people's boards once it comes time for the Senior Bowl. But until then, he's kind of be in this like 40 to 50 area for me. Cincinnati, they get a tackle to replace Riley Reef. And yeah, it's a big boy too. Los Angeles Chargers, Isaiah Likely. I love Likely in around like on day 2 for the Chargers. I'm a big fan of Likely's game. Don't know if he's going to be so much of a blocker at the next level, but he's a legit receiving tight end. And then we got the Kansas City Chiefs. I went with Daxton Hill. This is a guy that can play deep. He can play slot. The Chiefs, they like playing 3 safeties. Daniel Sorensen is bad. Good pickup. And then the San Francisco 49ers, Darion Kendrick, out of Georgia. Again, hopefully everything checks out character-wise with them. But cornerback depth, desperately needed for San Fran. We get it here. Buffalo Bills, I go back to the trenches. I go Travis Jones. This is a guy I think could go a lot higher. I think he's going to be a off-season draft process darling. There we go. He's going to be a sure run stuffer with some good pass rush and upside. Seattle Seahawks, I go with Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. Again, this edge class is packed, so there's going to be a lot of good edges here on day 2. Jermaine Johnson is definitely one of them. Pass rush is kind of few and far between for the Seahawks outside of Carlos Dunlap. Even like Darrell Taylor, he's been okay, nothing special, but let's go ahead and just get some pass rush. This is great value. If you're looking for pass rush, this is the right type of draft for you. Las Vegas Raiders, Devontae Wyatt, dude. This guy is extremely good. He might have some of the best get-off in this class of the defensive interior class. The Raiders, they're not getting pressure from the interior. We're getting it here with Wyatt, though. Denver Broncos, I go Bernhard Raymond out of Central Michigan. This guy just started playing the tackle position in 2019. He was a former tight end, extremely athletic. He's going to go to the Senior Bowl. I think he's going to set the roof off fire. This guy is a very good. Can he play right tackle? I don't know. We'll see. He just started learning playing left tackle, and he's done a good job there. I imagine he will pick it up quick and learn fairly fast. Cleveland Browns. I wanted to get a new receiver with my new quarterback, so I went with George Pickens. Again, a lot of this hinges on how he tests out and is he healthy. But Pickens, he is your prototypical X type of receiver. And then the Dallas Cowboys, I go with Zach Harrison here at 57, man. Big upside defensive player. That's kind of what I was looking for. So we grabbed it right here. Help with that pass rush. Get him in the mix there. And then the Denver Broncos, I went with best player available. Myjah Sanders at this point was best player available for me. Just another guy to come in and just do the pass rushing thing. He plays more over the over the tackle, sometimes even inside of the tackle in that Cincinnati scheme. So he's going to be kind of familiar with this Vic Fangio defense. And then the Baltimore Ravens, I went with Sean Ryan out of UCLA, a guy that I think could play tackle, but also could be a very stellar guard. Really with the Ravens, I just went with best player available, and preferably a guy that fits the scheme, and I think Ryan could be that guy. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, do not re-sign Leonard Fournette. He's going to ask for some legit money. You ain't going to pay it. Kenneth Walker, go ahead, grab the best running back in this class. The guy's a missed tackle machine. The New England Patriots, I went ahead and grabbed Jalen Catalon, guy with a lot of upside. I think he could really fall in this class, though, simply because of the injury history. He's almost like he has legit been hurt every year of his collegiate career. He's been limited in some way, that's like some shape or form. But we can't deny this guy's stupid rangy. We can't deny the immense upside potential. Devin McCourty replacement for the future. Green Bay Packers, I go Andrew Voorhees out of USC. I love how this guy plays. I think he would fit LaFleur's scheme quite well. Green Bay, let's get some more depth on that offensive line. And this is a cat that's played left guard and he's been playing left tackle for USC. So he's got good versatility to him, similar to Jenkins already there. The Atlanta Falcons, I go with the interior, Zion Johnson. I think he actually fits Arthur Smith's blocking scheme fairly well. Zion Johnson is another guy that has left tackle, has played left tackle at a pretty high level He's played left guard at a high level. Likely he's a guard in the NFL. Let's get Jalen Mayfield some competition. And just guard help in general. Arizona Cardinals to close off the second round. I went with... Who did I go with? Breece Hall, man. James Conner is going to be a free agent. We don't need to re-sign him. Let's go with Breece Hall. This guy is really good despite the lack of, run blocking there at Iowa State. All right, we're going to run through this third round, all right? Houston Texans. Or no, not Houston Texans. Detroit Lions. I go with Brandon Joseph. I like this cat a lot. Will Harris, he's bad. Joseph, stupid good range. Houston Texans, I go with their Mumford. The offensive interior to this line is really bad between Titus Howard and Max Sharpen. Both guys drafted, I think, in the same class too. But Thayer Mumford is a start now type of prospect. The ceiling may not be high, but he's a guy that could come in and immediately contribute. New York Jets, I go with Zion Toipolo-Afeti out of Washington. He is just a strong Salah type of pass rusher. And then the Washington football team, I go with Daniel Falele, who just actually accepted his Senior Bowl invite today. But Charles Leno and Cornelius Lucas, they're both free agents after the season, so might need replacements for those guys in the future. Minnesota Vikings, I went with Donovan West, center out of Arizona State. He's a guy that could potentially replace Bradbury, who's kind of been so-so. His plays all over the place. And West is a good scheme fit. New York Giants, I go Tanner Mckee. Let's turn up the heat on Daniel Jones, right? Because Tanner Mckee, I don't think he declares. But this cat has a skill set to be a first-round quarterback. It's just the sample size is small, and you could tell by his starting experience that he's still got a ways to go. But the guy's been impressive this year. San Francisco 49ers, Boy Mafe out of Minnesota. This guy's just an athletic freak on the line, especially since they have Eric Armstead playing on the interior a bit more nowadays. Let's get a guy that could come and fly off the outside. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Perion Winfrey out of Oklahoma. There's no interior pass rush to speak of for the Jaguars. Winfrey, that's kind of what he does. Philadelphia Eagles, I go with Lewis Sine out of Georgia. This cat could be a replacement for Anthony Harris, but this dude's been exceptionally good throughout his whole career there at Georgia. Another guy that can move up in this very good safety class. And the New York Giants back on the clock. I went with Zach Charbonnet, running back out of UCLA. Barkley, he's been hurt, and plus, he really doesn't have a good backup to speak of. Anyway, let's get a guy that can take some of the pressure off his back and potentially replace him, because do you really want to sign Barkley to a big boy, like big long-term contract? I want one too. Jacksonville Jaguars, I went with Nolan Smith, another guy that I think if he returns could really help his draft stock and end up being a first rounder. He's really come on this year. But Josh Allen, will he stay? Will he go? Even if he stays, I think more pass rush is required. Atlanta Falcons, I got Desmond Ridder here. Got the heir apparent to Matt Ryan. Ridder, honestly, he could go higher than this. I know a lot of people like the upside in his arm. It's just his accuracy can be so much over the place. I think he's really going to need a good performance in the playoffs and a good Senior Bowl to really change my mind on him. And then Las Vegas Raiders, I went with Jermaine Waller. He plays in a very similar scheme to what the Raiders are playing there now at Virginia Tech. And you know what? Casey Hayward, even if they bring him back, you got to think to the future. Waller may be a guy that can pair up with Mullins and be very sick on the outside. They already got Nate Hobbs, who's doing wonders in the slot. Indianapolis Colts, I go with John Mechie. I get my speedster. I get my burner. I get some guy that can legitimately separate there for Carson Wentz. Pittsburgh Steelers, I'll go with Abraham Lucas. I really just wanted a guy that could come in and play right tackle and be really solid, because I really think Dan Moore might be the guy they should go or should move forward with at the left tackle position. So just getting some line help there. Cleveland Browns, I go with Fedarian Mathis. Get some more pressure on that interior. This guy, oh my gosh, one of the best straight line pass rushers from the interior. Very explosive, very strong. Strong hands, uses them well too. Buffalo Bills, I go with Kobe Bryant. Not the Black Mamba, but the corner out of Cincinnati. Just get cornerback depth. Maybe someone that could challenge a Levi Wallace or get in the mix there with Dane Jackson. And then Denver Broncos. Again, I'm going best player available, guys that fit my scheme. Zachary Carter is that at 285. A guy that's been playing edge. He's kind of played interior there. He's been very versatile. He could be very versatile for this Denver front. But I think Denver, they have a lot of parts already in place. So I just want, again, best player available. I just want to add more playmakers to this squad. Seattle Seahawks, I go with Jalen Wademeyer. Not exactly the most explosive tight end, but he could end up being a decent blocker in the NFL. He's a good chain mover. He has shown the some after the catch ability. So to get a solid tight end for the Seahawks, they really don't have a guy. Like Gerald Everett's been okay, Will Disley's been okay, but they don't have a guy. Los Angeles Chargers, I go with Jalen Tolbert. This is my Mike Williams potential replacement. And then actually receivers going back to back. Chicago Bears, I go Romeo Dubs. Allen Robinson, I don't think he's coming back. So we get Romeo Dubs here. Houston Texans, Isaiah Spiller. They have nothing going on in the backfield. Don't even tell me David Johnson's a legit answer. We're here in the third round. Let's go ahead. Let's grab a running back. This guy, Isaiah Spiller, he's kind of good. Denver Broncos, again, kind of best player available, but at the same time, this fits a need. Chad Moma, out of Wyoming, has been very good. Alexander Johnson, ever since Josie Jewell went down, linebacker position's kind of messed next to Johnson, so we grabbed some depth there. Kansas City Chiefs, I couldn't stop myself, man. I went with Noah Daniels. This guy honestly could have been a first rounder if not for his immense injury history. That's been unfortunate, but here, third round, great value. Just add some depth to that cornerback core. Dallas Cowboys, I go with Kellen Dyche. This is a guy I like a lot, and this is our Tyrone Smith replacement for the future. Cincinnati Bengals, Jermaine Ruckert. I know, man. CJ Uzomah, he's looked good this year. Ruckert's a guy that could come in and maybe challenge, or maybe you come in and maybe want to run more two tight end sets. Probably not, but Ruckert, good athlete. He can block. There's some receiving upside there. Baltimore Ravens, I go with a versatile piece for that front seven in Cameron Thomas out of San Diego State. I've talked about this guy for the last couple of years. He's kind of a tweener at San Diego State. They really used him on the interior a ton when he was sitting there weighing at like 260. But now they moved him a bit more to the outside. Dude's been ridiculously good. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm getting offensive line depth. I went with Latacius? I don't know. I can't pronounce names very well. I'll get it down before the draft. Smith, out of Virginia Tech. He's been pretty good this year, so grab depth there. New England, I want to get a burner to replace Nelson Aguilar. I went with Trey Turner. This is my one of my favorite guys probably going to the Senior Bowl that I really think could make money for himself, similar to Josh Palmer did last year. Green Bay Packers, I went with linebacker Henry Toto. This guy's got good ball tracking, ball carrier. He's good at tracking ball carriers. Finishing, that's a different story. I think it'd be a bit more physical there. But again, if Campbell, who's been playing stellar there, Devondre Campbell for the Green Bay Packers, if he's a one-hit wonder? Let's try to find maybe someone that at least could potentially replace him in the future. Henry Toto, he's got huge upside. Tennessee Titans, I went with Greg Dulcich. Let's get a legit receiving tight end here. And just more playmakers. It's just so obvious the lack of playmakers with Derrick Henry down that the Titans have. Arizona Cardinals, I wanted to address corner at some point. So we got Michael Wright, kind of in a down year, but we know when he's at his best, he is really good. Pittsburgh Steelers, Tyreek Castro Fields, guy that's got some good athletic upsides, played really well for Penn State this year. So grabbing some cornerback depth there. Detroit, grabbing more linebacker depth. And Brian Asamoah, who's been very good, stupid good athlete, sideline to sideline athlete, but he's been playing good football. Miami Dolphins, I went with the best running back on the board since they don't have my boy out of Cincinnati on the Draft Network and Jerome Ford. I went with Zonovan Knight. Bam! Knight. Because the Dolphins, they brought in, at the beginning of the year, they brought in Malcolm Brown to kind of fill this void for that inside zone running concepts. And Zonovan Knight, he predominantly, that's what they run at NC State. So this is gonna be their inside zone guy. The Los Angeles Chargers, Jackson Kirkland's just great value here. This is your Whitworth replacement for the future. Baltimore Ravens, I went Kobe Wooden out of Auburn, dude. He's wonderful. Don't know if he comes out this year, but I think he can. He might occupy a similar role to Cameron Thomas, but I'm kind of doubling it up here with kind of just good players to maximize my chance of hitting on at least one of them. And then the final pick, I went with Jalen Pitre to the New Orleans Saints. If Chauncey Gardner-Johnson does move to safety, end up replacing Malcolm Jenkins, you're going to need a new slot guy. Pitre's really good at that. And, that's it. I hope the video is not too long. Looks like it might be. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Draft Network didn't have all the players that I like that I may be high on my list, like Justin Jacobs out of Iowa. He totally would have been on this day too, but they don't have him in the library, I guess. I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.